Here's the script. You've got a budgeting app. You've been logging every single purchase for 3 months. You know exactly how much you spent on coffee last Tuesday. And somehow, you're still broke at the end of every month. That's not a coincidence. That's a design flaw. And not in you. In the whole system you've been sold. Tracking money is not the same as managing money. Read that again. Because the entire personal finance app industry is built on making you feel like it is. I want to talk about something that almost nobody in the finance space will say out loud, because half of them are sponsored by the exact apps I'm about to criticize. These tools, Mint, YNAB, every colorful little spending tracker on the App Store, they are not fixing your financial life. In a lot of cases, they're quietly making it worse. And the reason why is actually really fascinating once you see it. It comes down to something called passive tracking. When you connect your bank account to an app and it automatically categorizes everything you spend, it feels productive. It feels like you're doing something. You open the app, you see the little graphs, the percentages, the breakdowns. Oh, I spent 18% on food this month. Cool. And then you close the app and you go buy lunch and nothing has changed. The app watched you spend money. It didn't help you make a better decision. It just documented the crime scene. This is the trap. The act of tracking creates a psychological sense of control that isn't real. Researchers call this substitution, where you feel like you've accomplished a goal just by monitoring it. You've been monitoring your money. You haven't been directing it. There's a massive difference. Let me tell you about my friend. I'll call him Marcus. Marcus had every personal finance app you can name. He had a color-coded spreadsheet on top of that. He could tell you his average monthly spend on groceries down to the dollar. He knew his subscriptions, his recurring bills, all of it. He was the most organized, broke person I've ever met in my life. Because here's what was actually happening. Marcus would open his app after buying something. Not before. He'd see the transaction, categorize it, feel that little dopamine hit of completing the task, and move on. The decision to spend had already been made. The app was just the receipt collector. It had zero influence over what happened at the point of purchase, which is the only moment that actually matters. When I asked him when he made his money decisions, he kind of stared at me blankly. He'd never thought about it that way. His process was earn money, spend money, then track money. There was no step where he actually decided anything. He was reacting. Just really organized reacting. Now here's where I want to flip this completely on its head. The problem isn't information. You don't need more data about your spending habits. Most people already know they spend too much on eating out or shopping or whatever their thing is. The app confirms what you already suspected. The information isn't the missing piece. The missing piece is a decision-making system that happens before the money leaves your account. I'm going to walk you through what I actually use and what I've seen work for people who were stuck in the tracking trap. It's called zero-based intentional budgeting. But honestly, that name sounds way more complicated than it is. Here's the core idea. Every dollar you earn gets assigned a job before the month starts. Not tracked after it's gone. Assigned before it moves. Sit down once, just once, at the beginning of the month. Take your income. Write it down on paper or a basic spreadsheet, nothing fancy. Then start giving every dollar a destination. Rent, utilities, groceries, those are obvious. But then you go further. How much is going to savings this month? Write a number. How much for fun spending? Write a number. Keep going until the total you've assigned equals the total you earned. Zero left over. Every dollar has a job. Now here's the part that actually changes your behavior. When you do this at the start of the month, you've already made the decisions. So when you're at the restaurant and you're deciding whether to order the expensive thing or not, you're not guessing. You already know what you decided. You look at what's left in your eating out allocation, and you either have it or you don't. The decision was made on Sunday morning with a clear head, not at 7 p.m. when you're hungry and tired, and your willpower is shot. That's the entire game. Make money decisions when you're calm, rested, and not in the moment of temptation. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a budget. Yes, it is. But there's a reason most budgets fail, and this approach works differently. Traditional budgets are permission structures. I'm allowed to spend this amount on X. This is more like a spending plan. You're not restricting yourself. You're choosing ahead of time what you want your money to do. It's proactive instead of reactive. And the manual part matters more than it sounds. When you open an app and your transactions auto-populate, there's no friction, no moment where your brain has to engage. But when you write something down, physically or even just manually type it in, you process it differently. The act of manually recording a purchase creates a pause. That pause is where financial awareness actually lives. I'm not saying throw technology out entirely. Use a simple spreadsheet. Use the Notes app on your phone if you want. The tool almost doesn't matter. What matters is that you are the one doing the thinking, not an algorithm doing it for you. There's also something worth saying about what these apps are actually designed to do. They're not designed to make you richer. They're designed to keep you engaged with the app. More engagement means more ad revenue or more subscription renewals. The goal is retention, not your financial transformation. When you understand that, the whole thing looks different. A budgeting app that actually fixed your relationship with money in 3 months would lose a customer. So they don't do that. They give you just enough progress to feel like things are moving without ever actually moving. I don't think it's necessarily sinister. It's just how the incentives work. But you should know what game you're actually playing. So here's what I want you to actually do after watching this. This week, not next month, this week. Write down your income for the month and start assigning every dollar a destination before you spend it. No app required. Just a piece of paper and a pen. Do it before the week starts. Do it proactively. Then, every time you spend something, manually subtract it from that category. Just subtract it. That's the whole system. You're going to feel something weird when you do this. You're going to feel slightly uncomfortable because now you have to confront what you actually want your money to do. There's no app absorbing the discomfort for you. It's just you and your choices. And that discomfort, that's exactly where real financial change happens. If you've been using a budgeting app and still feel like you're going nowhere, drop that in the comments. Tell me what your experience has been. I genuinely want to know if what I described resonates. The feeling of being perfectly organized and still stuck. You are not alone in that. And I think once you make this shift from passive tracking to active deciding, everything starts to feel a lot more like you're actually in control. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe. I talk about this stuff regularly, and I promise I'll never try to sell you a budgeting app. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice.